it's more of a general thing than just the specifics in that letter, but I pointed out in that letter that the Gwinnett County Elections Office has chosen to flout or ignore the things you laid out in the OEB yesterday. Two things. One, you said that there needed to be a reasonable notice. And the notice that was given, not by you, this isn't you guys doing it, it's Gwinnett County. But I expect it happens all the time, and if Gwinnett was willing to not follow your directions in the OEB that were really easy for them to follow, then I expect harder ones for them to follow, such as signature verifications, 120,000 of them in Gwinnett, would definitely be ignored, is my concern. And so I want to take this back to the signature verifications and my concern over whether or not Gwinnett County did signature verifications on the 120, because the two things they failed to do just from your OEB yesterday, they ignored the fact that you said reasonable notice, because reasonable notice they gave was somewhere around 7 or 8 last night. They kind of put out notice that they were going to start counting at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I personally don't consider reasonable notice to be after business hours for something that starts at business hours. The Elections Board itself has a 24-hour rule that says in the event that they call an emergency elections board meeting, they call an emergency meeting, but they give 24 hours notice. This wasn't even an emergency. It's something that Gwinnett County has to have done by midnight next Wednesday. So not so much an emergency, but rather than 24 hours notice, they gave what I consider to be no notice, because after business hours, to start something on business hours is 0 hours. The other point in that, though, is not only the reasonable, but it said y'all directed in the letter to post those on their website or another prominent place. Now, when you say another prominent place, I would suggest it would have had to have been something comparable to their website to call it prominent. Maybe a newspaper notification in the legal Oregon, an airplane flying with a banner behind it, I don't know, but something prominent. Gwinnett County did not put it on their website this morning until after 9 a.m. when they started counting, and are posting it on the door of the elections office. And I can see the elections office out my window right now, and there are about 20 sheets of paper on that elections office. There would be nothing prominent about a letter on that window. And the Secretary of State's office put it in the letter 2 times and reiterated it in that letter. And if Gwinnett County will flaunt or flout or ignore requests by y'all that I believe are so easy for them to have complied with, they would most definitely have not complied with your requirements that they review all 120,000 signatures in a good way. So I would suggest, I don't believe there's any confidence in the Gwinnett County Elections Office having done their job on the signatures.